the future does not look good. Unless change is made, America does not have the future that she would like to make you think she has. Subject, I didn't come here to say that. But I just wanted to ventilate some of these things that are on my heart for these hypocrites that write in the newspaper about Farrakhan. You don't know me. You don't know me well enough. Some of you have never heard me, never had a chance to question me. But I'm here tonight, thanks to these students. So I'm gonna hurry through our subject matter. But if you will listen to me, and this is not an anti-white tirade or somebody that's against white people or against Jewish people or against Arabs or Chinese or blacks. That's not the purpose at all. The purpose for truth is not to condemn color, but to condemn wrong. When wrong is condemned by the presence of truth, the wrongdoer in the light of truth has his or her actions or thoughts illuminated for them by the presence of truth. This is mercy from God because it allows us to correct our actions. If our actions go uncorrected, they bring in their wake consequences that may not be good for the actor. Great nations like this one have gone to ruin because people were hateful of truth.
Good morning, Africans. I hope you're doing fine where you are, and if you ain't doing fine, please do fine where you are. Today, I want us to head all the way to the United States of America, where we are going to find a special character, one man who has always voiced the voice of the voiceless. He has always voiced the voice of the weak in the black community. You know, much is needed as education, as health, as awareness. They say that without knowledge, people perish. And actually, there's a verse in the Bible which says, "My people perish due to lack of knowledge." And for this reason, many people have taken effort to develop their thinking capabilities. Many people have taken effort to try and learn the awareness, and also to try and spread the awareness to the black people. Because if you come to think of it, many people are being exploited in the United States of America, in Africa as well. It doesn't have to be the United States of America. Africa here as well, many people are being exploited because they lack awareness. You understand the police and their brutality. If you don't understand the law, the consequence is that the police might go overboard and exploit you. If you don't know your identity, if you don't know who you are, you know, chances of becoming who you are not are always very, very high. And this is what characters, this is what these educated people of the black community are trying to support with the establishment and the growth of the black communities, because the black community is an endangered species in the United States of America. Because not everyone has the privilege of attaining a PhD. Not everyone has the privilege of even attaining a high school, you know, certificate, particularly here in Africa. And so from characters such as the one I'm about to show you, we know Louis Farrakhan back from the days, a good student of Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad is also known to have tutored the legendary Malcolm X. You know, even though they had some some differences. It's time we look past the differences and look at the positive side of Elijah Muhammad. And also, as a result, we have Louis Farrakhan. The late Malcolm X is gone, but we have Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan is so good at, he does not look at, he's a Muslim. He doesn't look at Islam itself. He looks at other religions. He looks at Christianity. In fact, he acknowledges the person of the Christ, which I find very interesting with a Muslim leader. We have black people who are Muslims and we have black people who are Christians. But in order to bring these people together, we need the relationship, or rather the speaker needs to transcend, his ideas need to transcend the constraints of religion. I want us to watch this video and then I shall give you my thoughts by the end, where we shall also have a deep critical analysis. Let's dive in.
And why make me the racist? As though I created the disease that afflicts this university, afflicts America and the world. I am a victim, as they are, of your racism. So many of today's whites don't understand the legacy of racism. Farrakhan is not oppressing you. And black folk don't have the power to oppress you, even should they want to. So racism has a power component involved in the equation. One not only dislikes another, but has the power to enforce his dislike. Not only have whites dislike us, but they had the power ever since our fathers were brought to these shores as slaves to enforce their dislike, their hatred of us. And that's why we're in the condition that we're in. We're not the racists. We have come to end racism once and for all. They said Farrakhan doesn't want to see black and white together. He's antithetical to the preaching of Dr. Martin Luther King, as though that makes me a vile, despicable person. He's for separation. Please. You must remember, we didn't come on the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, or the Mayflower. We had separate quarters on the ships that brought us here, and we still live in separate quarters today. So don't say that Farrakhan is a separatist. Who is a better separatist than you? Talk to me. You don't live with us. You don't worship with us. It's difficult to get you to socialize with us. So what are you talking about? We have never been integrated in this society, have we? So why put it on me? I'm the separatist. Who separated us in the first place? Well, there's a bigger power that separated us. We all had boundaries. But it is natural for people to overcome the boundaries that separate people. And at first, we may not like each other because we're different from each other. But after a while, we should get to know one another and to respect one another, even if we don't love one another. But look at the situation. Many of our black students do not understand what has happened to us, and many white students do not understand what has happened to us. And therefore, when you look at black people in an inferior position and condition, not only in America but in the world, you wonder, why is this? Are we really genetically inferior? Is it that white folk are the great achievers and black folk really are just the good singers and dancers and musicians and ball players? Well, how did that sister get a 4.0 average? Is she a freak of some kind? No, brother and sister. We achieve what we will to achieve. Now they are saying to the black students, you brought that bigot here, we're going to make you pay for it. This is an awful thing for the college to do. You give the black students $13,000 in their budget, a measly $13,000. I want to talk about racism tonight, and bigotry tonight, and anti-Semitism tonight. I want to talk about a living, vile hatred tonight. $13,000 they give to the black students. And then they told the black students, since you all got together and raised $10,000 for Farrakhan's honorarium, we're going to cut you next year $3,000, so next year you'll only get $10,000. We'll teach you niggers a thing or two. Is that fair? They bring a speaker of their choice. They pay funds to this institution, and their money is also in student activities fees, and you bring people that have no relevance to them and you pay them out of those same funds. Don't be dismayed, dear black students, that they give me a jive $10,000 honorarium. Don't be dismayed. Mr. Reagan gets $50,000 to do this. Mr. Donaldson of ABC gets $25,000. Fawn Hall, the young lady that only claim to fame is that she shredded documents, gets $15,000 per appearance. But of course, they're worth it because they're white. They're popular. Come on, talk to me. You, in your own minds, have devalued black people, and we are not worthy. How could a black man be worthy to command such a fee? Black people don't have wisdom. Black people are not consequential. Well, you stay here with me tonight for just 1 hour, and by the help of God, I'll teach you more in 1 hour than you've learned in all of your life. And I'm not bragging. I didn't graduate from one of these institutions, but I have been blessed with a superior teacher. And what I have to impart to black students and to white students and to Asian students and to Jewish students and to whoever will listen, if you will listen with an unbiased mind, you will go out of here possibly with a chance to make yourself a better person. I would not waste my time or yours with trivia, but I want you to listen to this. Black students may not be the majority here, but white scouts go all over the country scouting the best black talent for your football team and the best black talent for your basketball team. And it is the football team and the basketball team that brings the biggest revenue to this institution. How in the hell are you going to tell me you're going to give black students $10,000 for a whole year when it is black people who are bringing you the money to this institution? Talk to me. People pay money to see the Illini. The who? The Redbirds. With a whole lot of black birds on the Redbird team. So, we're not asking for more than we should have, but what the black students should demand is their fair share. And you should never punish them for bringing me here. You should reward them, because each person that came in here tonight paid money to come in here. They use their money to pay me, but you take this money back to Student Activities Fund. That's a damn shame. You're not only wicked, but you're thieves, robbers. This is a people that don't have a voice. And every time they get a voice, that voice is stilled by the powers that be, because they fear a voice that they don't control, that black people are listening to. Today, every black leader that we have is being manipulated. So that today we have a beautiful mayor in New York, Mayor Dinkins, and a governor in Virginia, Governor Wilder, and a mayor in Seattle, and a new mayor in Cleveland, and a new mayor in Hartford, and we applaud. And when they write of these black men, they say, these are the new politicians They are non-threatening. What does that mean? If I am threatening, for what? I don't shoot anybody. I haven't robbed anybody. I'm not planning to. But I'm threatening to those who have lied to you and deceived you, because Jesus said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So now, if the truth makes me threatening, and being courageous enough to tell it makes me threatening, what makes a black man non-threatening? Then if he's non-threatening, he don't belong to you. If he's non-threatening, he's their man, not your man. He looks like you, but he works for them. And that's a hell of a condition to be in. To have a man that you put your hope in because he comes from your people. But he's not working for his people. There is not an Italian here, not a Greek here, not a Polish person, a Jewish person, an Irish person here who would vote for an Irish, an Italian, or a Jew to go anywhere if they didn't represent Jewish or Italian or Irish interests. You know that to be the fact. Why should we then settle for non-threatening politicians who rule and guide for others and do not stand for us when we are the majority who have elected them? Crossover politicians, they call them. You know what a crossover politician is? A crossover politician is like a crossover singer of songs. You know how it is. We start in the ghetto, where we always start. And we start in those honky-tonk joints where we always start. Nobody hears us there but our own people. They pay 75 cents for a beer, $1 for a beer, and we sing, and the people go out and say, man, did you hear Gladys McKnight or Gladys Knight and the Pips? They are something. And after 20 years on what they call the chitlin circuit, some white person comes in and says, wow. And just like they discovered America with a whole country full of Indians, just like they discovered Australia with the Aborigines there, they discovered Gladys Knight. They discovered Stevie Wonder. They discovered, and then when they discover us, that's when we're known. You see? Farrakhan has been speaking to black people for 36 going on 37 years. Now, I didn't get discovered. Until the great discoverer, the Christopher Columbus of black leadership, discovered me. I happened to be walking behind the Reverend Jackson, who had just a few years ago been discovered. The very word discovery and the way you use it is a racist kind of term. You're not interested in black people, but when we can make $1 for you, you become interested. When we can move you along further further your aims, your ambitions, your goals, you become interested in black people. But until then, you have no interest in us whatsoever. How dare you say that I'm bad for black-Jewish relations? What black people do you relate to? You don't relate to the black people on 43rd Street in Chicago, 63rd Street on the west side. We don't see a Jew. We don't know what you look like. So what kind of relationship am I messing up for you? You hypocrites. If you set up a black organization, somebody white knocking at the door, let me in. And if you don't let me in, you know, that's a racist group you're in. How many of you belong to Hillel? Ain't no black people belong to that, do you? Why not? Why not? You're not interested in that. You mean to tell me black people cannot have a black organization that speaks to black concerns without white folk in it? That's racism? Please. Yes, you're all practicing reverse racism. No, the problem is you are so frightened to see black people get together. You think we're always conspiring against you. So when we get together, you got to come and try to join us. That's not my subject. I didn't come here to say that. But I just wanted to ventilate some of these things that are on my heart for these hypocrites that write in the newspaper about Farrakhan. You don't know me. You don't know me well enough. Some of you have never heard me, never had a chance to question me. But I'm here tonight. Thanks to these students. So I'm gonna hurry through our subject matter. But if you will listen to me, and this is not an anti-white tirade or somebody that's against white people or against Jewish people or against Arabs or Chinese or blacks. That's not the purpose at all. The purpose for truth is not to condemn color, but to condemn wrong. When wrong is condemned by the presence of truth, the wrongdoer in the light of truth has his or her actions or thoughts illuminated for them by the presence of truth. This is mercy from God because it allows us to correct our actions. If our actions go uncorrected, they bring in their wake consequences that may not be good for the actor. Great nations like this one have gone to ruin because people were hateful of truth. They despised that which corrected them. What makes one despise correction? It is arrogance. Arrogance is a state of mind that blinds us to truth. For we begin to feel that we are better than, bigger than, above criticism. dare you tell me that I'm wrong? Do you know who I am? Truth, frankly, doesn't give a damn. Truth doesn't care who you are. Truth doesn't care what your position is. President is not above truth. Pope is not above truth. Prophet is not above truth. King is not above truth. Truth is the root of the universe. The universe may pass away, but the truth shall remain. So truth is what our lives are given to serve. It is truth that evolves us. It is truth that nurtures us. It is truth that makes us come into the path of God and makes us reflect the Creator. Truth. Falsehood created nothing. Falsehood can never be sustained. So you are at this university paying tens of thousands of dollars, your parents are, for you young students, white and black and Jew and Gentile, to get the truth that you may make a better life for yourself and a better world in which you and we can live. The problem is arrogance blinds us to truth. Look, there is no discipline that you are studying where the person who wrote the book has a knowledge of that discipline that is absolute. God didn't write the textbook. So if Freud wrote it, it has a lot to be desired. Socrates was brilliant, but he wasn't God. So if you read Socrates, if you read Plato, if you read Tillich, whoever you read, if you read Dewey, if you read Machiavelli, whoever you read, not God. So what you are reading is a person who has studied what the Creator created and drew from the creation his perception of the truth and wrote it down in a book and made a dissertation or wrote a thesis. And that became your book. So you're studying from a student who has not yet perfected the discipline. So if you are not trained to stand on the shoulders of the great thinkers to look beyond them, then you become enslaved to that which is imperfect, and you become non-functional in a world that needs your mind. Listen, students. Listen. You are born for this day, for this time. Your minds are equipped to go beyond a man that wrote 100 years ago, 25 years ago, even 10 years ago. You must never be enslaved to your teachers. You must honor and respect them, but stand on their shoulders and move more toward the absolute. Knowledge is not a stagnant thing. Knowledge is an ever-evolving thing as we move toward perfection. But once you stop the evolutionary process saying, I got it, that's when you lost it. Because what we know, you could put on the head of a common pin and it would have much room left on that pin in comparison to what is in the universe for us yet to learn. The fact that we have a problem with garbage Just think about that. Big problem. What are you going to do with your garbage? Oh, now, does that sound like trivia? Here's a barge going up and down the Atlantic Ocean filled with garbage, trying to find some place to dump it. Now, for 20 years, it's Earth Day. Isn't that wonderful? At last, after you all been in power all these years, you've learned now, oh my God, we better do something to protect the earth. The Native American could have told you that the day you met them. The Native Americans are the #1 protectors of the environment. All their writings, all their speeches, all their old prophecies deal with environment. Why didn't we learn from them? Well, after all, I mean, they're nothing but savages, heathens. We are the great Christians who came to civilize these savages and teach them about the Lord Jesus Christ. You mean the Lord Jesus Christ didn't hip you all to environment? You mean one who came to lead and guide us into all truth didn't tell you to protect the earth? But greed, you see, arrogance, cause you to pollute the earth, pollute the air, pollute the water. Now you have a problem with garbage. But of course, you are studying economics. Isn't that interesting? And the Creator has no problem with anything. He recycles everything. What a masterful economist. But of course, God, let's leave him out of this, because what does God know? You put your little cheap knowledge above the knowledge of the Creator. And that's why you're in the condition that you're in. Let me throw something out at our students. Beloved students, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us about pride. Because we get so little and then we begin to strut. Just a little degree. What did you get? Oh, I have my bachelor's. Which one? The BS or the BA? Well, more the BS than the BA. But one of those degrees I have. Now we can't stand you. Whoa. You put it on the wall. And what do you have? I have my master's. Yes. And which one do you have, Professor? Listen, I have 2 PhDs. And what does that make you? I am a doctor. Good. Doctor? If you are the doctor, what did you get your doctorate in? Well, I got my doctorate in sociology. Then why can't you heal the society? You see, the society presents you with problems that's beyond your degree. Isn't that right, doctor? Talk to me, doctor. You see, arrogance will make you lie to yourself. That I am a doctor of sociology. No, you're not. The very word doctor says you can heal whatever is wrong in the discipline that you study. Then heal this sick society, doctor. You don't even know where to begin. I have my doctorate in economics. You do you? I'm a real doctor. I'm a healer. I graduated from medical school. Oh, you did you? And the doctors do not outlive their patients. He knows the art of healing. He dies at 47 with a stroke. More doctors on drugs than their patients. But you're the doctor. I suggest that the doctor needs a doctor. And I respectfully suggest to you that what you call wisdom, God calls it foolishness. And what you call wisdom, he said, I will make the wisdom of this world foolishness with God. Because now the problems have overwhelmed the society. And you do not have the wisdom to solve the problems. This is done by the Creator, allowing you a free hand to let your hand create a mess that your own hand and mind can't solve, so that maybe, perhaps, you will become more humble and seek answers. And if you seek, you shall find. If you knock, it shall be open unto you. And if you ask, it shall be given. But if you think you already have it, then you're not seeking nothing. And I respectfully suggest that this is the problem of the world. The leaders are really ignorant. And God is turning their wisdom backward. Look at Eastern Europe for a moment. Just about 3 months ago, Margaret Thatcher, Helmut Kohl, Mitterrand, Gorbachev, Bush, Shamir, they could sit together, talk together, but they could not predict the movement in Eastern Europe. Think about that. Mossad, which is the Jewish, the Israeli intelligence component, something like America's CIA. Mossad, British intelligence, French intelligence, KGB, Russian intelligence, CIA, American intelligence could not, did not predict the movement in Eastern Europe. What does that tell you? If an elite, you who study political science, governments manage movement of people. Governments who control the means of propaganda actually direct the thought pattern, the actions of their constituency. But here is an elite that has power over the means of distribution of ideas, but they couldn't predict the movement of the people. What does that mean? There's another power at work in the world, moving people beyond the power of government to stop that motion. So governments tumbled like this. You remember Ceausescu, the powerful Romanian dictator with his great squad of secret police? Look how quick he tumbled down. In 2 weeks' time, the supposed impregnable man was overthrown. Do you remember the Shah of Iran? While he was here sitting with Jimmy Carter. Tear gas was floating over the Rose Garden. Iranian protesters. And Mr. Carter was saying, "Oh, it's nothing. He'll be around for a long time. This is powerful." But he was overthrown. When you see things happening afar off, be wise. Know that it can happen right in this great nation. There's a movement among the people today that government is not in control of. The fact that this media, who has been used to moving people, when they get ready for Gaddafi, they make the American public see Gaddafi as a terrorist. Terrorist, he's a terrorist, he's a terrorist. Then when they bomb him, they take a poll. What do you think? This is to see whether their stuff is working. And when they took the poll, 86% of the American people agreed that America should bomb Gaddafi. But when the truth started coming out, that percentage started dropping until it got into the early 60%. The government managed well. When they got ready for Noriega, Mr. Noriega, he's a drug dealer. He's an indicted drug dealer. Terrible fella, that Noriega. Who was he dealing drugs for? Who was paying him? Who was he in the employ of? After the American public was all hyped up over Noriega, the poor people in Panama on the 19th of December getting ready to celebrate Christmas. And Bush brings out the stealth bombers and bombs Panama. And the American people say, "Isn't that wonderful? I mean, he got that guy. He got him." But my dear black brothers and sisters, Noriega had his PDF headquarters in the middle of a district in Panama called Chorillo, in Panama City. The Chorillo district is populated by blacks and mestizos. And the Panama University, that has a device that measures earthquakes, they said in the first few hours they recorded over 1,700 bombs that fell. And these bombs were over 2,000 pounds. And do you know what? They didn't kill just 300 like they said. According to the University of Panama, a minimum of at least 5,000 men, women, and children were killed by this mad bomber in Washington, D.C., who doesn't want Mr. Gaddafi to have chemical plant to produce chemical warheads. But here's a government that can kill the world 100 times over with her stockpile. And what other December 19th is planned? Like his predecessor, Mr. Reagan, planned to invade Grenada. Little tiny Grenada. We sent our troops in. We got a communist government out. And then they put a black man in place, Mr. Colin Powell. Jumped over 30 white generals that some say were more qualified, so that the Negro mentality would say, isn't that wonderful? We have a black man who is chief or head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Colin Powell wasn't in on the planning of the bombing, but Colin Powell was used to come and explain it away to the American people. Why? Because your people were being killed. Now, if you don't think this is serious, I would like to bring this talk to a climax by quoting from the Holy Quran, which is the book of scripture of the Muslims, and then tying it together to say to the students, black and white, the future does not look good unless change is made. America does not have the future that she would like to make you think she has. And you don't have any future at all if you continue to think the way you think now. And how do you think as a student? You think that when you get your degree, you're going to go out and they got a job for you. Wrong thought. Wrong thought. As factories in America close down and move to Mexico and other places where labor is cheap, black folk more and more out of work. If you think that white folk are going to prepare jobs for you, you got another thought coming. You are here at Illinois State to learn that which will allow you to create a job for yourself. And if you don't do that, then your learning has been in vain. Do you hear me? Just like the basketball team, maybe one or two of those black stars will make the NBA. The rest of them, if they don't have anything up here, after they graduate, that's it, brother. You played beautifully when you were here, but when we can't use you no more, that's the end of that. And to the white students, the world is changing so fast. You cannot face the world that is coming in with the mind of white supremacy. That mind will render you incapable of handling what you're about to see. What you are seeing signs of heavily now. You got a few more minutes? Here is a verse of the Quran. This is a very magnificent book that is not on bookshelves in America, but it's powerful. Listen. In a chapter called Al-Asr, meaning the time, Muslims pray 5 times a day, but there is a prayer that we pray that is called Salatul Asr, and the Asr prayer comes when the sun has fallen away from its zenith and is like midpoint between the zenith and its setting. We measure time by the Earth's rotation on its axis and its revolution around the sun. So the Earth could not rotate on her axis without the light of the sun, nor could she revolve around the sun without the light of the sun. So it is our relationship to the sun that gives us our days and our years. So this chapter is called The Time. The Time. And if you don't have your watch, if you know the sun and the relationship of the earth, you can look at the sun and tell the time. You can look at the shadows even and tell the time by the shadow. Listen now. So Allah says in the Quran, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, by the time surely man is in loss, except those who believe and do good and enjoin one another to truth and enjoin on one another patience. Very pregnant. I'd like to deliver a few babies here. By the time, the word or the preposition by means that the time is the criterion by which actions are judged. Listen. By the time, surely man is in loss. Why is man losing? His actions are not corresponding with the dictates of the time. When you are out of time, have you ever tried to plant out of time? Nothing happens. Have you ever tried to harvest out of time? Nothing happens. When you go to the disco, if the music is beat, what is that? Time. And your dance got to be what? Right in accord with the time. But if you don't know how to dance, you can't keep that time, and people don't want to dance with you because you're not keeping time. Have you ever been in a band and the drummer who is keeping the time can't keep that time? He speeds it up, then he slows it down. No musician can play with a drummer that doesn't keep time. Everything is done by time. The whole human body is based on rhythm. So when you sing the song, I got rhythm, I got rhythm, what you talking about? You think that means a Negro that got a lot of rhythm. But look, this heart has a rhythm that it has to keep. When it speeds up or slows down, this is a worry for a doctor, the vital sign. Rhythm, pulse, beat, blood pressure, rhythm, timing, everything is on time. But when you get out of sync, out of time, things don't go well for you. When the body is not working rhythmically right, the organs begin to work at odds, and it creates dis-ease or disease. Time. What time is it? Not by this watch. What time is it? By the universal clock. Each prophet that came into the world marked time. And if you can't read the prophets, you can't read the clock. And if you don't know the time, then you don't know what you should be doing. And if you don't know what to do and you don't know the time, then you're about to lose not only what you have, but you can lose your life because you're not on time. Now this, y'all all right? Please follow me now. The sun, when it reaches its zenith, you watch, the shadow is very short. When the sun rises in the east and strikes an object, the shadow is long in the west. But when that sun reaches the zenith, the shadow has drawn up from the west back to the object. And as the sun starts setting, the shadow starts going back toward the east. A lot of wisdom in that. When that sun is setting, it's like saying that a world's time is coming to an end. And if you notice, when the sun sets, it sets in the west. And if you watch one of these beautiful sunsets, the sky looks like it's on fire. And this is what God threatens the world with at the end. It is total fire. The Western world has exercised power over all the darker people of the earth. You agree? Yes, sir. The light shined in the east, and the shadow on the Western powers gave a long shadow in the west, meaning the Western world or white world began an ascendancy to power. But it's Asr now. It's afternoon. The sun is setting on white world supremacy. Listen, just listen. Don't get emotional. Just listen. That kind of apartheid, I'm better because I'm white, that don't work anymore. It's being challenged by the rising sun. The sun rose in the east again. The Japanese, you beat them in war, but now they're beating you in economy, in technology, in mathematics, in banking. Their society is much further advanced than this one. America is being a loser. She's decaying, not because somebody is more powerful on the outside, but there is a rot and a decadence going on inside America that is bringing this nation down. I'm appealing to you, black and white, Jew and Gentile. We all live in America, but America cannot continue to exist as she is. Listen, the sun is now setting on Western world supremacy over the dark peoples of the earth. In the 21st century, if America does not check her fall now, America will be a third-rate power when we get into the 21st century. Strategic metals that America needs to be the superpower in the 21st century are in Southern Africa. He who gets control of Africa may be able to sustain supremacy in the 21st century, but we intend to control our destiny. So if we control our destiny, then where's Western supremacy going to be when you got to deal with black Africa? And you can't deal with us like your fathers did. You have to deal with us wiser than your fathers, more just than your fathers, because the black world outnumbers white people 11 to 1 on this earth, so we are not any minority. We are the majority. And that majority is now coming into power. Listen, you can't stop the power of the rise of the dark world. China is up now, 1 billion strong, and she remembers what America did. The Japanese have not forgotten. I'm just telling you, don't let anybody lull you to sleep. They have not forgotten. They're not like black people. Black people may forgive and forget, but not Chinese. The Japanese. Y'all all right? This is serious. China now has rockets that are putting satellites into space, and her rockets have been more consistent and effective than American rockets. So she's competing for the world's business now. China. Korea is up and moving. Vietnam whipped America. Wait a minute now. Did you hear me? They called it an honorable peace. But the Vietnamese drove the Americans out of there. America is used to this brutish kind of thing. Bomb, 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 bomb. They didn't know these people learned to live underground. And they'd go underground and America would bomb, then they'd come up. America never had that kind of fight before. Ask the Vietnam veterans. And after they fought that war, they come home to be mistreated. Many Vietnam veterans are angry, dissatisfied, because the government sent them to war. And the government never backed them up. Many of them dying with cancer because of Agent Orange, and the government is hedging on its responsibility to its own citizens. Oh, this is serious. You think that revolution is not coming inside America? You just keep breathing. And if the government continues to mistreat the American people as the government is doing, lying to the American people, deceiving the American people, you think it's the blacks going to rise, but your own people are going to rise up. The National Rifle Association has armed white America well. Arm them for you. Oh, I've got to make it plain. Because see, if you don't know what time it is, you really don't know what's happening, brother and sister. And I'm not here just to make you feel good. I'm here to hip you. And if I never see you again, you'll never forget what you heard me say tonight. Never in your life will you forget it. Because every day that you live, the truth of what I said is going to come home to you. We're in danger, black brother and sister, in grave danger. I'm almost finished. By the time we're in loss. Y'all all right? Look, oh, it's early. It's early. Y'all were just gonna party. This is Saturday night. But I don't want to keep you long, you know. But I do want to say this. If I were in the government, I would not let America lower her defenses, because this is the lull before the storm. By the time, to the Jewish students who are present, you just celebrated Passover, a time in the Jewish calendar when you celebrate your freedom, biblically, from Pharaoh. You know, as Jews, that Pharaoh had a plan against the children of Israel because he saw them multiplying. You remember? And Pharaoh said, let's deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, join on to an enemy of ours, and come against us. So what was Pharaoh's plan? Kill all the male children of the children of Israel. Jewish history is replete with kings that plotted against the life of the whole Jewish nation. When you read in the Bible of Queen Esther and Mordecai and Haman and Ahasuerus, you're reading about a plot at the highest level against a whole people to slaughter them all. You think that's in the Bible for nothing? If some of you as Jews feel that in your history you have lived that, then you know that governments do plan against people that they don't like. Did Hitler plan? Do you think that I, Louis Farrakhan, admired Hitler as a murderer and admired a man that hated blacks as well as Jews? Don't misread me. You know better than that. But Hitler came to power, and he had in his mind the killing of an entire people. He felt that Germany could not rise unless the Jews were crushed. He felt that way. And did he plan against their lives? Did he? Did history say he did? Listen, brothers and sisters, I'm not talking to be talking. That's just 40 years ago. That man planned against the life of a whole people. Did some of the Jews think that Hitler was not really against them? Did some of the middle-class Jews think that maybe Hitler was not going to deal with them because they were doctors and lawyers and teachers, and it was only the riffraff Jews that Hitler was after? But Hitler had something for everyone, didn't he? He failed, didn't he? But look how many millions he killed. Would you be surprised if I told you that the government in which we live has the same plans for you? Wait now, wait. I know what you say. It's incredible. Farrakhan is suffering from paranoia. Baby. that man is just prejudiced. I'm not prejudiced. To be prejudiced is to judge before a knowledge of the facts. We've lived under this government for 430 years. We know what this government is capable of doing. Let me help you to understand. Now, brothers and sisters, you and your fathers built this country before many of these whites knew that America existed. Your fathers were here building this. Agree? Many of these whites, most of these whites, all of these whites had nothing to do with slavery. They had nothing at all to do with what happened to our fathers. Is that true? It is true. They weren't here. They just weren't here. Some of these white students are second and third generation Americans. You were here before the Mayflower. You came, according to what is written in the Congressional Library in Washington and what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, you came in 1555 on a ship named Jesus. The first slaves were brought into America. And according to W.E.B. Du Bois, one of our greatest historians and social scientists, he wrote that a conservative estimate of our Holocaust was 100 million black lives lost in the Middle Passage. Nobody talks about black suffering. We don't own CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox Broadcasting. You can tell your story, and when you tell it, nobody accused Jews of teaching hatred against Germans. You just teaching remembrance. Remembrance so that it will never happen again. But when I remind my people of what we have suffered at the hands of white people and still suffer, that's a hate monger. He's living with hatred. How is it remembering for you but hatred for me? No, it's the same thing. I want my brothers and sisters to remember. In fact, to remember means that it once was in your mind.
It is with no doubt that this gentleman, Mr. Louis Farrakhan, or Minister Louis Farrakhan, is actually a wise man. And for a wise person, I'd also advise you, for a wise person as Louis Farrakhan, I'd also tell you that you don't want anything to go missing. Every single word, you just want to record it on your mind and recite it, and make it stick on your mind. For me, I took this, my beloved notebook from 2024, last year. So I decided to write some points that I want us to discuss, and also some points. There are many things that Minister Louis Farrakhan has said, and he was basing his arguments on three domains: the domain of politics, the domain of religion, and the domain of philosophy, philosophy of ethics. Now, I'm going to discuss these 3 points together, and I'm going to start with this. He starts by saying that, or rather, in one of the statements, he says that, or rather, he asks the question, are we really genetically inferior, black people? Are we born to be inferior? Are we born less? Which is a question you should ask yourself as well as a black person. Are we born inferior? Are we born less? Can we not catch up to white people? Are Are we the least in everything? Don't we have the mind to build things? Don't we have the mind for technology? We have the mind for agriculture. We have the mind to create maritime technology. Don't we have the mind to play sports? Don't we have the mind to participate in Formula One racing? Don't we have the mind to build furnitures? Don't we have the mind to ride the jets? Is a question I want you to ask yourself. Don't we have the mind? Or rather, are we made to think we don't have the mind? You know, because I believe we have very good people, very good black individuals who really excel in these things I've named. We have footballers, Mbappe, we have Didier Drogba, we have Pogba, we have who else? Mario Balotelli, just to name the list. There are so many black people. You know, black people have been witness to the development of American technologies, the cars, something like Cadillac. Cadillac is an American vehicle company. Black people have contributed a lot to this. We have the alarm system. Black people have contributed to this. We have food preservations. Black people have contributed to this. But in as much as we might not be getting the credit, it does not rob us of our intelligence. So the answer to this question, are we really genetically inferior, is no. No. Intelligence is not tied to race. Intelligence is a genetic thing. You understand? It is not tied to a specific race. You have to be this race to be intelligent. No. I believe we had very many intelligent people, even better than Isaac Newton. It's only that the people who write history are so much biased. They are biased and they really don't want you to think that there is somebody who is better than them. You know? So the answer is no. We are not genetically inferior. Farrakhan goes ahead to say that racism, bigotry, Semitism, and hatred to fellow humans is a no thing. He is not in that podium to support racism, to support bigotry, or to support anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is the hate for the Jew. You know what racism is? One race placing itself above another and suppressing them. And then we have bigotry. All these Minister Louis Farrakhan is not in support of. Minister Louis Farrakhan is here to spread truth, and truth transcends all boundaries. He even said that the universe will pass, but truth will remain. This shows you how much intense and how much solid the truth is actually. You understand? Now, again, Minister Farrakhan goes ahead and says that despising black people by giving them low income, you know, the government of the United States is despising the black people by giving them low income in the same criteria, in the same position, in the same job. If there was a white person, they would be paid even times 5 greater than that which is paid to the black person, just because they are black. But they are citizens. The United States constitution allows them to be citizens. You understand? Not even allows them. They are citizens. They are citizens by naturalization, by birth, by registration, all sort. You know, the slavery made them United States citizens. Because come to think of it, many people in the United States of America are not the original descendants. The original descendants of the USA is the Red Indians. If there is somebody who should be chasing people away, it is the Red Indians. You understand? But the Red Indians and the black people are the most despised in the United States of America. So Minister Farrakhan said that he is paid $10,000 while other white counterparts get hefty amounts for spreading nonsense. That is the sort of world we are living in. Minister Farrakhan is here to spread wisdom. He is here to spread knowledge. But as compared, he is not complaining about money. Get him right. It's not that he despises the 10,000 shillings, but he tries to look at the intentions of them giving such an amount, you know, as compared to the amount they are giving the other person. You know, money is what you pay and value is what you get, right? Price is what you pay, value is what you get. So you attach value to a lot of money. You attach price, a lot of price, to a lot of value. Now you get where the logic is. If Louis Farrakhan, a person who spreads knowledge, wisdom, he spreads awareness, he spreads information to everyone despite their race, you know, he has paid such an amount. That shows you how much the United States government takes black people, how much the United States government values information that is going to enrich the black people. It's not about the money, it's about the intention that has been attached to the price of that money. Now, he also goes ahead and speaks of hypocrisy. Hypocrisy in the American institution and schools. Black students, like the school he was having a podium on, really excel in sports, and you know, when they win, they bring money is paid to the school because the school is the one which hosts them. So money is paid to this school, and this money is brought in by those black people who have performed very well in the sports, but they are paid less, you know. They bring money to schools but paid so less, but white students are paid better even from the same school. I'll still go back to what I told you. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Connect the two and then cross multiply. You will find why money is not the issue here. The issue here is the intentions and the devaluement of the black culture, black history, and black setups like the one that Louis Farrakhan has established. You know, they say that they like the black dollar, but they hate the black skin. One thing I do say is that hypocrisy is the worst thing. A hypocrite is worse than a murderer, you know. Now, they hate the black skin, but they like the black dollar. The school like the one Louis Farrakhan was hosting his speech is a school that is known to have black students who perform very well in football, not soccer, but football in US. You know, the game which you throw the ball with your hand and somebody runs and they put on some helmets, that one. So the black students are bringing money here. Now they like the money the black students are generating, but they don't like the black skin. They don't like the black skin by the money they pay, by the treatment they get. You understand? I think if you don't like me, don't like my things as well. You leave my things alone. If you don't like me, just leave my things alone. Don't say you like me, but you want to use my things. If you want to do that, we will get into problems. Yep. I have no problem with you hating me. You can hate me as much as you want. But don't put your hands into my things. Yeah, hate my things as well. And this should go to everyone who thinks they can get it all, or rather they think that they hate you but they want what belongs to you, you know. So Farrakhan also spoke about Western media hypocrisy. He says that the Western media paints a bad image of him. He says that the Western media does not even understand him. The Western media does not know who Louis Farrakhan is. But they're still out there and they're trying to spread false narrative, false news about Minister Louis Farrakhan. You get? This is sad, and I believe it should be addressed. Minister Louis Farrakhan goes ahead and says, the purpose of truth is not to condemn color, but to condemn the wrong. Louis Farrakhan, while he was talking over there, he was not condemning any race. That one we should get right. He was not condemning any race. He was condemning the wrongs that have been done. I believe that the black people have also done some wrong against the whites. The whites have done some wrongs against the black. Everyone has done wrong against anyone. You know, he is there to correct the wrong. You know, do not shoot the messenger. You know, don't shoot the messenger. That is what you shouldn't do. But the truth as Louis Farrakhan puts it, everything will pass, but the truth will remain. You get it? So he's not really condemning any race, but he's spreading awareness. You understand? So he says that in the acquisition, in the spreading, in the acquisition, spread, and in awareness of bringing truth. Truth is met by some resistance. Just like any other good thing is met with resistance, truth is met by resistance. And the resistance that truth is met by is called pride. Pride is a fruit of arrogance. Minister Farrakhan tells us that arrogance puts away truth and tries to change truth for what it is, or tries to bend truth. But unfortunately, the truth can't be bent. You can pretend to bend it, you can hide it, but eventually it will pop up. Eventually it will break you down. You get it? So arrogance makes one reject correction. And if we reject correction, we can't have tomorrow. If we reject correction, there is no need for the police. If we reject correction, there is no need for jail, because jails are there to make sure that people reform, people become better humans in the future. But if we reject all these that is brought about by correction, if we reject truth, where are we heading as a community? Where are we heading as black people? Where is the United States heading? You get it? He says that some people places themselves above, and they think that they are above criticism. They are above being told you are wrong. Well, Louis Farrakhan addresses the issue this way. No one is above criticism. And I believe no one is above criticism. Even the president is not above criticism. You get it? Louis Farrakhan went ahead and said, be ready to learn the truth and not prideful in learning from others. Just be ready to learn the truth. Don't place yourself that I know it all, I can't learn from you, you don't know shit. Don't be such kind of a person. Go ahead and learn. You never know what you are listening, how it will help you. A baby might be telling you the truth. It might be a life-changing thing. It's wise to always listen, you know. Louis Farrakhan emphasizes on this. Arrogance makes us lie to ourselves. Still on the topic of truth, arrogance makes us lie to ourselves. We think that we are almighty. We think that we are never wrong. We think that we have power and nothing can come in between us and our power. And this is the part where everything goes wrong. According to Minister Louis Farrakhan, we try to challenge God sometimes with our cheap, limited knowledge. I quote Minister Louis Farrakhan. I quote him. We attack God with our cheap, insufficient, unlimited, cheap, limited, and an unqualified knowledge, thinking we know it all, but we don't. The doctors think they know it all, but they're the ones to die first. The doctors think that they can solve the problem of drug abuse, but they're the ones who are heavy on drugs. You know, these are statements given by Louis Farrakhan, and they're true. They're very true. The psychologists might pretend to be solving cases, but they're the ones whom their families are breaking. You get it? So humans have limited knowledge, and we must acknowledge the Most High God. We must acknowledge the Almighty. That is one of the best things I normally love about Louis Farrakhan. He acknowledges the superior being. I love it when someone who is wise acknowledges that his wisdom is nothing as compared to the wisdom of the Most High God. Even if you put the wisdom of the Most High God aside, and you place the wisdom of the universe, which the wisdom of the universe cannot even reach closer to the wisdom of the Most High God who built the universe. There is so much you can learn from the universe. But if we empty our heads with arrogance, you can't fill a cup that is full of arrogance. Pour the arrogance. Put in the knowledge. That's one thing I love about Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is always acknowledging the person of the Most High God, and he's always acknowledging the person of Jesus Christ. That one makes me like him even better as a founder, or rather as a person of truth, a person of interest to the black community. There's something which he said which I believe is true. He said that the United States of America places itself as the world police. You know, they place themselves as the people who are there to spread human rights. They are there to ensure people are living well, no one is oppressed. But hypocritically, they are the ones who are oppressing people. They are the ones who are here to, whatever they want. Doesn't matter which means they take. To them, the end justifies the means. Now, he says that the United States of America was quick to kill Gaddafi, but they forgot that, in the event of doing this, they were going against their own self-will. I believe the United States is a hypocritical country, and change needs to be done over there. Kindly subscribe to my channel. This is EFK Original Documentaries. See you in the next one.